Hi everyone, welcome to Storytime for the week. Today our stories have the word big in them. So let's take a look at the letters that make up the word big. We start with our B here. It's a little bit tricky to see because it's red like my board, but it makes the B sound like boo or bang. Then we have our I sound. And in this word, I makes the sound like igloo or ick. Remember, I is one of those letters that can make a couple of different sounds. So in this word, it makes the sound like igloo or ick. And then we have our G. G is going to make the g sound like go or game. So go ahead and sound it out. We've got b, I, g, big. All right. Well, before we get into our stories, let's go ahead and sing our hello song. Now remember, it's going to go, hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. It's time to say hello. Ready? Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. It's time to say hello. All right, guys. Well, you've probably heard the stories that we're going to do today before, but we are going to start off with the story of the three little pigs and the big bad wolf. Once upon a time, there was a mama pig and three brother pigs. And the brother pigs had gotten old enough that it was time for them to set out on their own. So Mama Pig wished them well and sent them on their way so that they could go out into the world and make their own homes. Well, they hadn't been walking very long when they came across a peddler. And a peddler is just someone who's selling something, guys. Well, this peddler was selling straw. Now, our first pig here, he was a bit lazy and he didn't want to do a lot of work. So he looked at the straw and said, that's fine. I'll go ahead and make my house out of that. And away he went to make his house out of straw. Well, the next two pigs kept walking and they traveled a little further when the second brother saw the peddler selling some sticks. And he thought to himself, all right, I've been walking for a bit. Sticks would make a pretty good house, better than straw for sure. So he bought the sticks and away he went to build his house out of sticks. Well, our third pig was the smartest one of all the brothers, and he wanted to make sure that his house was strong and sturdy, and even though it might take a little bit more work, he was okay with that if he could make a house that would last. So he waited and waited and waited until he found a peddler who was selling bricks. And this little pig bought those bricks and set off to make his strong, sturdy house. Well, what these pigs didn't know, that they had been being watched by a big, bad wolf. And this wolf was very hungry. He went off in search of those little pigs so that he could have a nice, tasty meal. Well, he came across the house of that first little pig, and he went knock, knock, knock. Little pig, let me come in. Well, Little pig looked out the door and he saw the wolf and he was like, no way am I letting that wolf in. He's going to eat me. So he replied, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Well, Big Bad Wolf wasn't too much a fan of that answer, so he said, then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. And he blew such a strong, strong breath that straw house just fell right on down into a heap of straw. And the little pig, having nowhere to hide, ran off. Well, the little pig ran as fast as his little pig legs could carry him until he came upon his brother's house made of sticks. Well, he knocked on the door. His brother let him right in. He told his brother that a big bad wolf was chasing him and that he was trying to eat him. Well, sure enough, the big bad wolf had followed him to his brother's house. He went right up to the door and went knock, knock, knock. Little pigs, let me come in. Well, these little pigs sure as shooting didn't want to get eaten, so they said, not by the hair of our chinny chin chins. Well, the wolf was very hungry by this time after all this running and waiting for food. He said, then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. He let out a big, huge breath, and wouldn't you know, that house of sticks didn't stand up to that big bad wolf either. It fell onto the ground, just a pile of sticks, no more house. Well, those little pigs, they were pretty scared at this point, so they both ran as fast as they could, and they ran until they reached a very cozy, pretty brick house that their brother had built. They asked their brother, let us in, let us in. There's a big bad wolf chasing us. Well, the brother let them in. But the big bad wolf was not too far behind. He got to the door and he was starving at this point. He wanted some delicious little piggies to eat. Comes knock, knock, knock. Little pigs, let me come in. Not by the hair of our chinny chin chins, they told him. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. And whoosh, the big bad wolf gave a big puff and nothing happened. That brick house was still standing. Well, the wolf decided he was going to try again, and he gave the biggest, strongest puff he had ever given. But the brick house stayed standing. Well, Big Bad Wolf thought and he thought, and he had an idea. He thought, why don't I climb up the roof of that house and I will go down the chimney and I will sneak into the house that way. I don't have to blow it over. Well, he thought this was an excellent idea and he started climbing up the roof. The little pigs, though, were very smart and they heard him climbing and tapping on the floor. So very quick, they went and they got a big pot of water and they put it in the fireplace and they lit a fire so that it was roaring, blazing hot, and the water was boiling and bubbling and scalding. Well, wouldn't you know it, the big bad wolf didn't know this was happening, so after he had climbed up to the top of the roof and crawled and made his way to the chimney and climbed down the chimney, he went slap into a hot pot full of boiling water. And whoosh, out he went, faster than you can imagine, right off, up the chimney, across the roof, down the house, and away. And he never bothered the little pigs ever again. So the three brothers lived happily together in that brick house for the rest of their days. The end. All right, guys. Well, we have a very fun action song to go with our word today. I'm going to walk you through the steps, and then we'll go through it together. So it starts off going, this is big, big, big. This is small, small, small. Actually, it goes like this. This is small, small, small. So this is big, big, big. This is small, small, small. This is short, short, short. And this is tall, tall, tall. This is fast, fast, fast. And this is slow, slow, slow. This is yes, yes, yes. And this is no, no, no. So do you guys think you can go ahead and do it with me? Let's go ahead and see if we can do it together. Ready? This is big, big, big. And this is small, small, small. This is short, short, short. And this is tall, tall, tall. This is fast, fast, fast. And this is slow, slow, slow. This is yes, yes, yes. And this is no, no, no. Great job, guys. Let's go through it one more time. I really like the part where we go fast and slow with our hands. That's my favorite part. All right, ready? This is big, big, big. And this is small, small, small. This is short, short, short. And this is tall, tall, tall. This is fast, fast, fast. And this is slow, slow, slow. This is yes, yes, yes. And this is no, no, no. All right, great job, guys. Well, our next story sees the return of the big bad wolf. But this time, he is in a different forest. And he is after a girl named Little Red Riding Hood. Alrighty. Well, once upon a time, there was a little girl who's named Little Red Riding Hood. The whole village called her that because she always wore a red cloak with a red hood. And a cloak is kind of like a jacket or a robe, guys. Helps keep you warm. Well, Little Red Riding Hood heard one day that her grandmother wasn't feeling well. Her grandmother lived inside the woods, and she decided she was going to take her a basket of goodies to feel better. So Little Red Riding Hood said goodbye to her mom and went on her way through the woods. Well, her mother told her, be sure and stick to the path, because sometimes there are wolves in the forest. Well, Little Red Riding Hood was on her way, and she was making her way through the woods. But she had forgotten what her mother had said. And she went off the path and picked some beautiful flowers to give to her grandmother. Well, sure as shooting, the big bad wolf that lived in the forest, the one that ran off from the three little pigs, saw her. And boy, he was still hungry. So he thought, how can I eat up this delicious looking child? Well, he knew there was only one house in the woods that Little Red Riding Hood could be going to. So he thought, why don't I run ahead and beat her to the house? And I'll be waiting for her when she gets there. So away ran the big bad wolf, faster than Little Red Riding Hood could go, off to see Granny. Well, Granny was sick in bed. She was not feeling well. She had a very cozy little house in the woods, and there weren't too many people that came to visit her. So when she heard a knock, knock, knock on the door, she figured, that must be my granddaughter. But nope, it was the big bad wolf, and he gobbled her right up. Yum! All in one big swallow. Big bad wolf took Granny's clothes, he took off his own clothes, and he put on Granny's clothes and got under the covers just in time for another knock to come at the door. And wouldn't you know, that was Little Red Riding Hood. Knock, knock, knock. Come in, the wolf said in Granny's voice, and Little Red Riding Hood came on in. Well, she looked at Grandma and said, my Grandma, what big eyes you have. All the better to see you with, my dear. Well, Little Red Riding Hood thought, something looks a little different about Granny. Granny, what a big nose you have. All the better to smell you with, my dear. Well, that sure was a strange response. Granny, what big ears you have. All the better to hear you with. Well, Little Red Riding Hood knew at this time this did not look like her Granny. Granny, what big teeth you have. All the better to eat you with. Oh no, it was the big bad wolf hiding as Granny. Well, Little Red Riding Hood was so shocked, she didn't know what to do. So out she ran, out back into the forest. She ran as fast as she could, but the wolf was chasing her. Well, she came across a woodcutter and told him, help, help, the big bad wolf is chasing me. So the woodcutter took up his axe, and sure enough, when he saw the big bad wolf, he knocked him out with his axe, conk, right on the head. Well, with the wolf unconscious and asleep, Granny, remember she was just swallowed in one big bite, was able to come right back out his mouth. And she gave Red Riding Hood a big hug and thanked her for helping save her. And the woodcutter too, of course. They couldn't have beat the wolf without him. Well, the wolf was very sick at this point in time of not getting to get his meals and being burned and knocked on the head. So away he went, off never to be heard from ever again. The end. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. As always, we have a fun activity for you in the post. But until then, we do need to say goodbye for the week. And remember, our goodbye song goes, goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. It's time to say goodbye. Ready? Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. It's time to say goodbye. Bye, everybody.